Yeah. See, when you got a clear vision of where you headed to, you gotta truly believe in yourself and speak that shit into existence. Dig? Fuck everybody else's opinions. You gotta boss up and continue to elevate on these niggas. It's facts. Let's get it.
And this is elevation.
Wait a minute. I don't think they heard me.
And this is elevation.
Now let me talk my shit.
I told you I was back and I meant it. I told you I was back and I meant it. Last year I had an MVP season, but these niggas don't wanna see me winning. I took the first 6 months off this year. Came back and I killed them with the spillage. Turned around and doubled up like Kales. But I ain't kidding, this is grown folks' business. Yeah, pun intended. I'm back up in this bitch like good sex. I held back the first time, look what I do next. I really started from the bottom on the rise to the top. Might as well put the game in a suplex. The Boi Spit, keep it lit like a.
They say everybody got a dream, and everybody got a story to tell. Since I've been chasing mine for quite some time now, it's only right I tell my side of things. This is my story, my way, and this is Elevation.
The Boi Spit, man. What's going on with you?
What's happening?
Shit, man. Just you know, we trying to get everybody in tune with, you know, who you actually are. You know, as an artist, as a person, individual, all that. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. First of all, congratulations.
Appreciate it.
So now, just to start this thing off, you know, and I want to keep it as casual as possible. You know, I want you to be comfortable. I want you to feel like it's, you know, who is the Boi Spit, and where are you from, actually?
That's a good question, man. Who is the Boi Spit? I'm just a regular dude, honestly, man. I mean, ain't nothing super spectacular about me, man. I'm just a regular person, man. I'm a cool, down-to-earth ass person, good person at heart. But when it comes to this music, you know, I just try my best to pour my heart in it and be the best version of me I can be when it comes to this music. Right.
I was born Andrew A.J. Braggs on September 15, 1983, a native of Chicago's West Side, the son of Anita Earl and Larry Braggs. I'm the oldest out of my siblings. My sister Maisha is from my mama's side, and my two brothers Cody and Brandon is from my daddy's side. But to be real, I even consider all my cousins on both sides of my family brothers and sisters as well. I'm real big on family.
Growing up in Chicago, you gotta have tough skin. You gotta keep up with the fast-paced environment. It's a lot of shit going on. Motherfuckers is just moving. They going, you know what I mean? And you can be exposed to a lot of shit, especially when it comes to the streets and the neighborhoods that I was growing up in. You know, me growing up there prepared me for the world. You know what I mean? So anywhere I go, anywhere I move, or how I operate, I'll be straight, because I got, you know, that Chicago bloodline. I got that mentality, so I know how to survive and really move and wiggle correctly. It's rough, it's grimy. It can take you under if you let it. You know what I mean? Other than that, I feel like if you can make it and survive in Chicago, you damn near can survive anywhere.
I attended both Paderewski and Mason Elementary, both on the west side. I'm an 80s baby, but the 90s raised me. We talking about an era of Saturday morning cartoons, Nintendo and Sega Genesis, actually playing outside with other kids, girls jumping rope, water gun fights and fire hydrants on in the streets. I mean, I loved every bit of it. We had block club parties in the summer, snowball fights in the winter. Shit, for me, it was lit. Had a bunch of cool ass friends from both schools that I rocked with tough.
Growing up in Chicago, it was cool. I mean, shit, for me as a kid, you know. Had some dope ass friends, you know what I'm saying? Ran around the streets, you know, played basketball. That was pretty much like the first love for me, hooping. Like, I'm talking about hooping on any and everything. Putting crates up in the alley, nailing them on the, you know, the light pole.
Right.
Taking wire hangers and forming them into circles to shoot paper balls and whatever we could possibly do to hoop. Nigga, that's what we was doing. You know what I mean? Me and my little cousins, older cousins. That's literally all we did every day, all day.
See, Chicago always been a well-known rough city, always been on go mode, but its reputation on the violence side has increased over the last few years like crazy. But despite the negative images the media focus on, it's still a beautiful place at the end of the day.
I know you mentioned basketball. Would you say that's like the number one thing that you like, you know, growing up in Chicago specifically?
I had other hobbies. I mean, as much as I enjoyed basketball, I still would play video games. Shit, I was running around with Nerf guns. I love Nerf guns. You know what I'm saying? I was a big ass kid, flipping and on trampolines and shit. I had a best friend that passed away. I want to say like 2-3 years ago, and he had drowned in Lake Michigan. But that was my best friend. His name was Bean, and me and him used to just run around all day long together, hitting up arcades, riding BMX bikes and shit, being class clowns, and playing basketball.
I became best friends with Bing from going to school with him at Paderewski, and me and him hanging outside when I was at home with my mama. That was the Londale-Cermak area. We stayed on 22nd and Ridgeway. The gangs on that side was heavy with a lot of VLs, that's Vice Lords. But I spent most of my time running the streets at my grandma Bragg's crib from my daddy's side with all my other cousins / brothers and sisters. We had too much fun when we got together. Now that side of Chicago was K-Town. Majority of the streets over there started with K's. Kildare, Call-Off, Comiskey. She stayed on 15th and Ketville. It was heavy with GDs over there, Folks Nation, Gangster Disciples. So as a kid back and forth from both sides of my family, I was exposed to some of everything. Gang initiations, violations, shootouts, drug dealings all day long, gang fights, police brutality, murder scenes, robbery. Shit, I done seen it all.
I know as far as like, you know, we already spoke about how it was in Chicago, and I know how it is in the Bay Area, but how would you, like, just give me the pros and cons?
The transition from Chicago to Cali was crazy as a kid, because you got to remember, I'm like 13, 14 years old when I moved from Chicago. So I'm used to seeing, you know, grimy ass neighborhoods, you know, no grass on the ground, and, you know, in front of houses and shit, you know, where we would make little marble potholes to shoot marbles and shit, you know what I mean? But then you got the violence, you always hearing the sirens and shit, police sirens, ambulance, people, you know, coming up dead in like vacant lots that you stayed right next to. So it was bad, you know. For me, when I touched down to Cali, I actually touched down in Union City. If you're familiar or know anything about Union City, California, that's pretty much like shit, the suburbs almost. The first 2-3 months, I ain't hear no gunshots. You know what I'm saying? No police sirens. None of that type of activity that I was used to as a kid in Chicago. So it had me like, okay, shit, it's more things to life than just where I come from. So it made me want to, you know, travel more and see other shit.
After I graduated 8th grade from Mason Elementary, I moved to Union City, California with my daddy and my stepmama Evie. I did my freshman and sophomore years there at James Logan High School. My grandma Bragg sent my brother Pooh to Cali as well to stay with us. His mama, my auntie, had passed away due to a brain aneurysm, so she knew he needed a fresh start. The move to Cali was like seeing a whole new world. A kid from grimy Chicago to Union City was like night and day. I wasn't used to seeing green grass. I'm talking about full lawns. No trash all in the streets, no abandoned buildings, no gunshots all the time, no police sirens. I mean, it was completely opposite for me.
It's a lot of people that's in Chicago that to this day that's never left Chicago. That's all they know.
Right.
And, you know, and I just wanted to be the type of person that shit, I want to see more. You know what I mean? I don't want to be stuck to just one thing, you know. So, yeah, that's how that transition was for me.
Okay. How did you get your name, you know what I'm saying, and your start, you know, in the music business?
My mom and my daddy, they was into music, you know. Both of them sing in the choir like through high school and college.
Right.
So I'm kind of like was born into that already.
Although my mama did love singing in church and in the school choirs, she never had the desire to pursue a music career. My daddy, on the other hand, went on to form groups early in his career and eventually went on to be the lead singer for the legendary group Tower of Power, as well as becoming a member of the Temptations. So music is in my blood.
I started calling myself Drew Dog because when the first time I heard Gin and Juice from Snoop, that's the exact moment I knew, like, this is what I want to do. But I knew
That's when the inspiration really started.
Yeah, that's when it definitely really started. You know what I mean? From that Gin and Juice. I originally started off with the name Spitfire. I got it from my brother, my brother Pooh, aka Dark Child.
Right.
One day I was writing rhymes and shit, and he was like, he came in the room, he wanted me to rap something fast. He was like, nah, let's try to speed that verse up. So by this time, you know, I was already listening to Twista and Bone, you know what I mean, that Midwest, that fast rapid flow.
Rap.
So I think I played like a Twista Drilling in Rush or something, you know, Twista rap fast. So I had sped that verse up that I wrote, and I was rapping it to that. And he was like, yeah, he was like, bro, I like that shit. He was like, you know, I think I got the perfect name for you. He was like, Spitfire. And I'm like, why Spitfire? He was like, cause you spitting that shit, but it's rapid, it's fast, and you know, you got that heat. So I'm like, okay, shit, I kind of like that. So kind of ran with that. You know, eventually I ended up changing it. Down the line, I dropped the fire off the end, you know what I'm saying, and just kept it like the Boi Spit or just spit, you know, by itself. Because when I was a kid, I actually used to do a lot of spitting. You know, my grandma Braggs, before she passed away, she'd be like, oh, boy, stop all that spitting. That's nasty. That's nasty. So it kind of just, stuck with me, you know what I mean? So in her honor, I was just like, you know, Grandma, look at me now. I'm actually, you know, doing something with this spitting. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm still nasty with it. So, you know what I mean? It kind of, yeah, you know, just kind of played off of that.
My daddy and my stepmama ended up buying a house out in Pittsburgh, California. P-World, the 925, and that was at the start of my junior year. I then attended Pittsburgh High School. Now that transformation from Union City to Pittsburgh, that felt more like I was back at home in Chicago. It was real grimy, it was real hood, it was real street. It just felt like home. And by that time, I knew I wanted to take music serious and build a dope-ass career for myself.
I got out of town, ripped up my hometown was baby hating that. I pick him up in the bar, snurve, and I take him back. Only use them for they body and cash. If you ain't snurved, you probably know somebody that has. It's a fact.
So, originally, when I heard about you, it was probably in the early 2000s. It was through the battle rap scene. Just to hear like, oh, it's this nigga named Spitfire from Chicago. This nigga rap hella fast. This nigga got bars. This nigga hard. Tell me about that, and tell me about what you think. I mean, how you feel about the battle rap culture in general, but just, you know.
I first started when I was in high school with James Logan. I think it was my freshman year when I first got introduced to the whole battle shit.
Right.
And I had a few battles there. That shit was cool. Formed a couple of groups with, you know, some of my best friends and shit that I'm still cool with to this day. And I had one of my first battles. It was up there, and it went okay. It didn't go too good, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on this. So when I came back, I just kept going at it. I was real heavy on battle rap, like around that time. I remember when I first came to Pittsburgh. Everybody was telling me about this youngster named Conniva. And they was like, oh man, he the hardest nigga in Pittsburgh. You gotta battle him, So I had battled Conniva in front of the whole school. And you know, to this day, you know, shout out Conniva, you know, free Conniva, but he'll tell you, I gave that boy the business, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I'm just keeping it 100. And he told me out of his mouth, like, nah, bro, you got me. So after that, you know, when you're a new nigga and you come into a new place, everybody want to test you now, you know? So I remember it was one point I was at a house party. I battled like 5 niggas at once. Like, they just kept coming up, oh, let me get him. And nigga, I was just chopping them down, but...
Once I made a name for myself, I just kept the ball rolling. I ended up getting together with a few of my best friends / brothers, and we started a spinoff of Rap City's The Basement in our video production class. We called it The Attic. It was me, Tremaine, aka Train, our brother Greg G.A. Ashford, who was actually one of my first best friends I made when I moved to Pittsburgh. He ended up drowning in Lake Berryessa on Senior Ditch Day, and it fucked me up. I lost my brothers Greg and Bing from the exact same incidents. During the Attic days is when I became best friends with my brother Be Easy, and we started the group Street Legends and also created the group DUE, The Unexpected. Anybody who thought they could rap even a little bit came to our teacher Paula Cass video production class to step up to that mic.
I fuck with URL TV, you know what I'm saying, the battle rap scene, you know, got motherfuckers like Charlie Clips, you know, K-Shine, and, you know, DNA, and, you know, Hitman Holla, Conceited, and all them. So, yeah, I fuck with the battle rap scene. I like it. I don't focus more on that shit now, but I'm still definitely tuned in and entertained with that shit off top. So, battle rap is definitely one of the first outlets, besides me just penning shit.
Right.
Yeah, I fuck with battle rap.
Okay. I want to ask you about the transition from battle rapping to rapping, because as you know, as a lot of people may know, a lot of battle rappers, they have difficulty going from battle rap to just making music. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Like,
I don't think all of them do, but it is, you know, I think what it is a lot of times you focus your craft on one specific thing, and you put all your time and energy into that. Now, you could be the coldest and the dopest nigga that battle rap, but if you're not putting that same effort into turning this into songs, it may be a little difficult, because at the same time, it's a different format. It's different shit that you do when you battle rap, and you have to prepare for an opponent. You have to make sure you come with, you know, schemes. You know, you gotta make sure you have the best bars, the delivery, and overall everything. But when you're trying to make a song, you have to focus on sometimes other things. You know what I mean? That was different. I was focusing on, you know, the most disrespectful shit you could possibly say. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or the most clever shit you could say. How I'm gonna deliver this, how I'm gonna deliver that. But eventually, when I started getting more into music as a whole and everything, I enjoyed making songs a little more better than just battle rap. So for me, it was just taking and channeling all that energy and just putting it into studying like the greats. I would listen to my favorite songs. Okay, this #1 hit record on TV, on the videos, or on the radio, and I would just kind of like mimic that. So I just started studying, you know, like the greats, man, and when it comes to hip hop, and seeing how they formatted songs and got #1 hit records on the radio and shit. So I just kind of transitioned and gravitated towards it like that, pretty much. I enjoyed that a little more than just getting up there and dissing somebody and battle rapping.
Right. You know? Who are some of your musical influences? I know you already mentioned Snoop Dogg, of course.
My era is, you know, the GOATs in my eyes. You know what I mean? Your Twisters,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Your Jay-Z, your Biggies, your Nas. You know, fuck with Cameron, you know, Jim Jones, E40. You know, I'm from that era, so I was more influenced by them. And then, you know, the other side of me, I love R&B music too. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, my mama and my daddy, they was listening to, you know, old school R&B records and shit. So I love R&B. So you have like your Nate Dogg's, rest in peace Nate Dogg, heavily influenced by Nate Dogg. You know what I mean? I love R. Kelly, you know what I'm saying, and his music and what he does. I don't really get too much into like the personal side and his personal life of the shit that's going on with him. But as far as music, you can't really take that away from him. So I still, you know, love all of the old R. Kelly shit and everything. So yeah, man, I go off the GOATs.
As cliche as it might sound, this music shit is my life. I mean, I got unconditional love for hip-hop, but I do appreciate all genres of music. I come from the era of these artists, so it's naturally that I was influenced by them, but I also appreciate underground artists that's stupid dope too.
don't get me wrong. I like the new generation shit too. You know what I mean? I definitely like the new generation. I don't agree with everything. I don't like everything, but shit, it's daytime now, so we got to kind of try to adapt to, you know, the new wave. But yeah, man, I just love music in general. All genres, everything. I listen to everything. I take some from here. I get inspired from a lot of shit. But yeah, mainly the old school, as we call them, the OGs now. That's really what influenced me. And you know,
What song would you say? Well, I know you got a lot of songs, but what song would you say defines you most as an artist, or maybe not define you, because you know it's a lot to define somebody, and just to do it with one song, that's kind of a lot. But if somebody never heard you before, they don't know who the Boi Spit is, what song should they go look up right now that's out right now on, you know, all digital platforms?
That's kind of tough, to be honest with you. I mean, I believe I'm on like my 8th or 9th solo project, really. So by the time this air, the people hear this, you know what I mean, it's definitely going to be just the entire elevation project for me. I think right now in this moment is the best idea that you can really get of me. Literally, like, I mean, it may sound cliche, but elevating, you know what I mean? You can go back to all my older stuff, and if you start from there and listen to every project up until now, it'll pretty much tell, you know, a lot about me if you're really a fan of music and love, you know, good rap, hip-hop shit, even R&B. Because I dabble into, you know, my harmonizing here and there, but I would say elevation. I would say listen to this project, and you would definitely see and hear and know who you're listening to as a person. It got a lot of personal stuff in there, you know what I'm saying? It got a lot of just a new wave for me. But I honestly think that they should check out the Elevation album.
Okay.
Yeah, I guarantee they would understand me a lot more.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming from Chicago to the Bay Area, how do you think that affected you music-wise? Like, do you feel like it gave you an advantage or a disadvantage?
Honestly, I feel like it gave me an advantage. When I was in Chicago still as a kid, right? I came up in the whole No Limit era. So I was a fucking No Limit fanatic. I knew when Master P and No Limit was dropping albums, like niggas know when Jay's is dropping. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how much I was on No Limit. I listened to a little bit of like Biggie and Nas here and there, but not as much as I was stuck on No Limit.
Right.
So what happened was my freshman year of high school, when I went to James Logan High, I had that big ass thick folder that you put all the CDs. This one collecting CDs at the time. Yeah. So I had all that shit. I put it in my gym locker. And after gym, I came, the locker was broke off. Whole damn CD case gone.
Somebody
stole all of it. But to this day, I thank whoever the fuck stole it, bro. Because at the end, I don't know if I'd have been, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, but when it got stolen, it made me start listening to other shit now, because I ain't have my go-to, you know what I mean? So that's when I was introduced to listen to Dr. Dre, The Chronic, you know what I mean? And Eminem, and, you know, a lot of West Coast music and shit. So
well, wait a minute. You saying you didn't listen to The Chronic until after you stopped listening to No Limit? Because The Chronic came out before No Limit.
Sad but true, yeah. That's how much I rocked with No Limit.
What was you listening to before No Limit?
The only thing close to that was probably Snoop. That's probably the closest thing before I got into Dr. Dre, The Chronic. It was probably just Snoop with the Gin and Juice.
And then you was just on No Limit.
You know, it was No Limit. Of course, like my hometown artists, you know, like Twista. You know, I listened to Twista, Crucial Conflict, Triple Darkness. I listened to my locals. But I was stuck on fucking No Limit. Like, I was really stuck on No Limit. And then I got into the Cash Money era too. But after they took that CD case shit, I started listening to everything. I was listening like East Coast, West Coast, and then that's what opened up my brain and my mind to start paying attention to any and everything, because I was finding motivation through all this shit.
Right.
So once I got a hold to all that new shit, it was pretty much a wrap after that.
Right.
Yeah. But shout out to whoever stole that shit. Whoever stole them CDs, I appreciate it. It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah. All right. Your process of making music from then till now.
The process started out, when I first started, it was just writing shit down. Whatever rhymed and it sounded cool to me, I was just writing that shit. I was speaking about the shit that was going on that I was seeing in the neighborhood. Or, if some of my older brothers and cousins was going through something, if I knew they was doing something, if I was around that, then I would rap about that, speak about it. But then as you get older, you start maturing. Mm-hmm. So my music made a transition from just hearing and writing about shit that I was seeing or probably even was doing. Even though if it was real, I still would speak on it. But then as you get older, you grow and you start realizing, okay, you got a voice now. You got little kids that's listening, and you kind of have a conscience. So I just started flipping shit. So I'll give you an example. So, back in the day, as a kid, I probably would say, oh, I got this amount of money, or something in a rhyme.
Right.
9 times out of 10, the nigga was broke as a kid, didn't have no money, but we was talking about it. But then as you got older, I started realizing you could still say it, but it's just how you say it. So I would flip it like, okay, I may not say I got this money. Now I would turn around and say I'm trying to get this money.
Right.
Same subject, same thing, just delivered it different. You know what I mean? So I just did a lot of personal corrections within myself, and I just grew. You know what I mean? And I just keep that shit as authentic as possible, because at the end of the day, shit, that's all I have to live by. That's the only way I know. Just keeping it 100, you know what I mean? But the process of recording, I probably would say I'm probably my biggest critic. Like, if I can sit down and try to write some shit, if I get stuck on it, I'm not going to force it. I put that shit to the side. It might take me a day or two to go back, but I'll finish it. But I don't like to force nothing. I like everything to just kind of, flow and come organically. But recording is pretty much easy for me. I think I got a lot of experience in that department. Every project I did before, let's say my last 2, I did all the mixing and the mastering myself on. I recorded myself, go in the booth. You gotta have the shit set up to where you punch yourself in, run to the closet, close the door, rap. You know what I mean? Right. So it do take a lot. But shit, I feel like it helped mold me. You know what I mean? So,
how old were you when you first recorded your first song?
The first song I ever recorded, I think I was about maybe 11 or 12. Now, you mean real deal studio?
Yeah.
Or okay, because 11 to 12 for me. 11 to 12 for me, back then it was still cassette tapes. So,
just in general, I guess in general, well, both. When you first recorded ever, and
the first time I ever heard myself coming out of some speakers was me fucking around with tape with the cassette tapes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You press record and shit, you record yourself with the little microphone and that. But then the first time I actually went into a professional studio was probably at 13 to 14, yeah.
Okay, and at that time you probably
I was still in high school.
Grade?
Yeah.
Is this something that you just knew, like when you first started doing it? Like, okay, when I get older, I'm gonna be a professional artist.
Nah, not at all. Cause playing basketball, but that's what started it for me. But then when I first heard Snoop, Gin, and Juice, that's the song that really made me feel like, okay,
so it hooked you in.
This the shit that I want to do. I want to do this shit for the rest of my life.
Right.
So as much as I still love basketball, you know what I mean, I thought it was I thought that's what I really wanted to do, make it to the NBA. Just like, every kid, especially coming up out of, you know what I'm saying, coming from the hood or the streets, and that's what you see. Every kid wanted to be Jordan, you know what I mean? Every kid wanted to be a Kobe or something, LeBron. But for me, when I found that music, that was it. It was no turning back. I didn't give a shit if I ever blow up to have 10,000 fans or 10 fans. I'm going to do that shit for them 10 fans if it's just 10 fans, because that's where my passion and my love it was, you know what I mean? Like today's generation, you know, a lot of people just start. There's a lot of artists that be like, oh, shit, I just started rapping 3 months ago. I'm like, damn, okay, you got a hit record already 3 months ago. That's cool, I applaud. But for me, I didn't never get into this shit to sell records or nothing. I just love doing this shit. So that was the farthest from my mind because I just had passion for it.
So what, like, being that you say like today, it's a rapper every 10 minutes, a new rapper. What's making you, what's different about the Boi Spit as far as your sound, your style, your purpose, just in general? Like, what separates you? Why should people listen to your music opposed to Lil Such and Such from down the street?
Little such and such. It's a lot of little
You
such
know,
and
little
such.
it's little, you know, little such and such.
It's a lot of little such and suches running around.
Right.
I mean, honestly, bro, to each his own. I mean, if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. You know, I make music for. First of all, I make music what comes from my heart. You know what I mean? I take life experiences. It may be personal shit that I personally went through, or it could be something that my brother or somebody went through, and I'll create something off of that. It's all about, for me, the vibe, the emotions, but at the same time, the authenticity of it. You know what I mean? It's cool. You hear, you know, a lot of gun bars from certain artists and all that. I mean, it's cool. It's entertainment. I don't take it personal, but for me, I want to just make sure the messages that I'm getting across and getting out there is 100% true facts and relatable.
Right.
Because everybody going through something different. I mean, we can party all day long, but everybody don't have money to party all day long. Right. There's motherfuckers that's sitting around that's worrying about how their rent gonna get paid. You know what I mean? I got struggle songs too. I've been there, done that. Homeless, you know what I'm saying? Living out of my car, all type of shit. So I try to make shit that everybody can really relate to and really feel, and you know, like, okay, he went through something. This is some real shit. I can fuck with this.
Right.
And that's just what I try to keep it at, man. I don't try to do too much, you know. I mean, but if I have to, I will give you them bars still, you know.
Right,
but you know, other than that, I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
Okay. What do you think about the difference between the Chicago rap culture and the Northern California rap culture?
Honestly, shit, right now it's not too much of a difference.
Like I mean,
as far as,
I want to rephrase it. What did you pick up? Well, I know, like you said, you started off, you know, influenced by Twista and, you know, Crucial Conflict, the Do or Dies, or what. But I'm saying, like, what did you pick up from there? And then when you get to the Bay Area, what are you picking up from there? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you get from the two that you combined and, you know, added?
Well, from the Chicago music scene, for me, I picked up early because that era. Like, you got to remember, it's the 90s era for me. So that's a lot of fast rapping. You know, I picked up the fast flow, how to break down, you know, patterns here and there, you know, switching up the flow, switching up shit. But then with the Bay Area rap scene, when I finally got to Cali, it was pretty much the same like it is now for like Chicago rap. Because, you know, Chicago got a different sound now. They got like the drill music. And then the Bay Area music, at one point it was the hyphy music. But then that era has transitioned now to more of a, I don't know what to really call it. It's more like I want to say like a turf sound, you know what I mean? It's more street and gritty, which pretty much is the same shit for Chicago music now, because all the shit that's going on in Chicago, you know, the murders, the killers and all that, and the youngsters that's pretty much they getting on the beat, and they speaking of what they into. They speaking what they see every day. It's no different from the Bay Area music. You got hoods out here that's on that same shit. Youngsters trying to get out, see the same violence and everything. So content-wise, it's pretty much the same for me. But the sound of it is different as far as the beat selections. You know, that's about the only thing that's a little different.
Well, I know that they in the Bay, they got a lot of independent artists. The business side of it is different. It's not as much pressure that you got to be signed to somebody to be somebody. It's a lot of people that do their own thing.
Right.
Which I see.
But that's because now I can say I picked that up from the Bay though.
Right.
Because everybody know shit that independent hustle came from the Bay. You know what I mean? You had 40, Too Short and them selling they tapes out the trunk. You know what I mean? They pulling up in the hood and they slapping they shit and they selling out the trunk. That's that independent hustle. That's that mentality that I picked up from the Bay Area, you know what I mean? Right. Although I still seen my cousins and my older, you know, my brothers and shit in Chicago, I seen them hustling on the block, and you know what I mean? So I picked up that, but then I picked up the same mentality as far as to flip that music, the same way you doing, you know, hustling in the streets. I got that from the Bay Area. So that's what made me want to do my independent thing. Right. You know, I don't want to be the type of nigga that's just trying to, how can I put it, depend on a major record label or something. Because as you can see, it's a lot of artists that signed to these majors that you probably won't even hear. You know what I mean? They'll get shelved. Like, you got to have your own destiny. You got to hold your own shit. So that's what I picked up from the Bay. Be about your business. Be about, you know, your money and do it right. But go get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And shit, I am from Chicago, so I'm already a go-getter anyway. Right. So I'm combined. I really got the best of both worlds, bro. Like, I really feel like I'm a walking cheat code at times. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been exposed to both sides. Right. You know, and it keeps me grounded. I don't forget where I come from. I know who was there when I was, you know what I'm saying, trying to get to this point. I just keep it real and authentic within myself, and everything else just fall in place.
Right. And so I'm guessing that's where you got the inspiration from My Way Entertainment.
Yeah, so I mean, it originally started out as I called my little independent label a few things, but originally I had Shaw City Entertainment, but I didn't want to just single out, you know, one place when I know Chicago is always home, but the Bay is my second home. So then I flipped it to, it was Mid-West Coast music. And then I was like, okay, now that's cool, but I feel like I'm limiting myself. You know what I mean? So got the Midwest and West Coast. Okay, then people like, oh, what about the South? Right. What about the East Coast? You know what I mean?
It's bigger.
So one day I was just looking at the logo. I had came up with the M and the W for the Midwest Coast. Right. And then I'm like, man, I really do all this shit on my own. You know what I mean? I was recording myself, mixing my own shit, at times designing my own artwork and graphics. You know what I mean? Just everything I was doing was all in-house. The only thing I probably wasn't doing was making beats personally, because I don't really got the time or the patience to make no motherfucking beats. Just give me the beat and I'll do the rest. But I really was like, man, I really do all this shit on my own. Right. And I don't give a fuck about what nobody else is doing. And it just clicked. I was like, man, I really do this shit my way. Like, personally, it's about the power of independence. So I do shit my way, you know what I mean? And it just clicked. And I'm like, man, I think I'm gonna rock with that. And then I felt like everybody can relate to it. Because if you about doing shit your way and how you want it to be done, and not caring about if motherfuckers go left, okay, well, if they go left, I'm finna go right. If they start trying to come right, shit, I'm gonna come up with a new wave and I'm gonna go back left. I want to do everything on my terms, the way I want to do it. I don't care what nobody else is doing. I don't give a fuck about nothing else. What's trending, what's hot at the moment, I don't think about it. I literally do everything my way. And that's pretty much that's what I live by. It's just the My Way mentality. Came up with the clothing line. Named it My Way Mentality. You know what I mean? And I kind of did a spin-off of Kobe with the Kobe mentality, well, the Mamba mentality, how, you know, Kobe Bryant got the Mamba mentality. And you really have to stand for some shit. And I stand for the power of independence. Right. That's the My Way mentality. Do you. Don't worry about what nobody else doing. Don't give a fuck about what nobody say. just do you. And that's pretty much how that came about.
Okay, so as far as being an independent artist, I know you obviously you're satisfied being an independent artist. Is there any desire to ever sign with a major label, or is that anywhere later on down the line? Is that in the plans, or?
Right now for me, I'm still working on, you know, having that solid foundation and just really build before I even want to approach some type of label deal or anything, because, you know, it's cutthroat. That industry is definitely cutthroat. So for me, I'm cool with being an independent artist, you know what I'm saying? Because I control everything. I own all my music, any and everything I do, how I move, how I operate, when I'm ready to drop something, opposed to have to get an approval from, you know what I'm saying, a label. Oh, no, we don't want to run with this song, or we see this. So it's a lot less stressful, I can imagine, because, I mean, I eat, sleep, and breathe fucking this music shit. So I know and hear all the stories the main motherfuckers is talking about in the industry now. So if they already inside and they like, this shit is not cool, it's not gonna make me want to be urged to rush into some shit like that. So, but I mean, if the right opportunity presented itself, I'll sit down and listen. I definitely would, but it gotta be the right shit. I've already done a lot of, you know, ghostwriting and writing for other people, and, you know what I mean, all that shit. So for me, I can see that too. You know what I mean? I can take a step and take a seat back. You know what I'm saying? And because we all have bigger and better plans at the end of the day. Nobody wants to just be an artist their whole fucking career. You know what I mean? So I got other shit on my mind. So I can definitely be a great addition to the right team, but it got to be right.
Right.
It got to be all the way right. They got to come correct.
Right.
If not, I'm cool with being independent. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna eat regardless, with or without them. So, yeah.
All right.
Not everybody gonna have your back. You gotta be strong. Be strong, be strong, be strong. You better watch these niggas and these bitches. Both of them flaw. They flaw. You see, I actually thought they fucked with me, but I was so wrong. I was wrong. Cause when the shit went down, I looked around and they was all gone. They was gone. I swear you got me fucked up. I couldn't believe it when I seen it, but I'ma keep it player. Truthfully, I'm glad to see it happen now than later. I'm mad as fuck, I trusted you, but you did me a favor. Niggas and bitches ain't as real as they say they are. We used to always talk about how we gon' fuck the game up. We called each other mothers, we was touching paper. I would've took a bullet for you if I had to save ya. Niggas and bitches ain't as real as they say they are. But shit got thick, that's when you switched up on a nigga major. I had your back, you was my brother, how the fuck you change up? And now I hear you talking shit, you acting hella fake, bruh. I should've known it from the jump, you was a fucking hater. Everybody gonna have your back, you gotta be